Hi, my name is Randolph Scott Dix III. This is a book I've written titled Escaping Samsara. This book took me 5 years to complete, partly because I only started writing it whenever I was inspired to do so. It wasn't just a complete thought that I just put down. It's been reiterated many times as I deem fit. I didn't even know that I was going to write this book. It was just kind of something that I just started. I just put my thoughts on paper. And then as I got older, I wanted to formulate them more into a way where it can be digested and understood by others. So I'm going to read a bit of the introduction. This is a book to those who seek to liberate themselves from themselves. The seed for all that you are and all that you will be is already inside you. Seek to know everything. The greatest power one can possess is the ability to see and empathize with the perspective of others. Only through passing the ordeals of initiation can one be liberated. I'm a God, you are God. And I note here, this book is a lifelong book. This isn't an end-all be-all. As I continue to learn and grow, so will my perspective and wisdom. I will impart what I learn here to you. Periodically check back for new chapters. I'm currently receiving a new download and I'm organizing my thoughts to apply to this book. So, I'm going to read the introduction. The Lord Buddha has said, and just a disclaimer, I'm not a religious person. I wouldn't even say that I'm a spiritual person. I do believe in God. I do believe in a higher power. I grew up Methodist, pretty much. Grew up in a church. And so I have a lot of respect for Christianity, the Bible. But as I got older, I wanted to go deeper and learn new things. And it took me across many different studies. And Islam is another one. Jehovah's Witness, Zion Lutheran. But the one that I set on, that I'm currently studying, is the Kabbalah. This one's speaking to me greatly. So I just wanted to say that disclaimer. So anyways, the Lord Buddha has said that we must not believe in a thing merely said because it is said, nor traditions because they have been handed down from antiquity, nor rumors as such, nor writings by sages because sages wrote them, nor fancies that we may suspect to have been inspired by us by a diva, that is, and presumed spiritual inspiration, nor from interferences drawn from some haphazard assumption that we have made, nor because of what seems an analogical necessity, nor on the mere authority of our teachers or masters, but we are to believe when the writing, doctrine, or saying is collaborated by our own reason and consciousness. For this, says he in concluding, I taught you not to believe merely because you have heard, but when you believed in your consciousness, then to act accordingly and abundantly. And I really like that there, because it's saying that just because someone great or someone that says they're inspired or this or that told you something, you don't believe it right away, right? You are supposed to believe it whenever it agrees with your consciousness. So whenever it agrees with, your spirit. For instance, if someone came around you and like they just didn't make you feel good, right? And in your spirit, it's just something about them that just doesn't line up. You know that this is someone that you probably shouldn't be around or hang out with. That's your spirit guiding you, letting you know, protecting you. And so Buddha here is saying with information, you should do the same thing. So, and the reason I started off with saying that in this book is because I'm saying a lot of things here. A lot of things that I say in this book will question things that you may believe yourself. And it doesn't mean that I'm right, and it doesn't mean that I'm wrong. But what it's saying is take in the information that benefits you. If it sets in your spirit, if it's something that opens up your mind and your perspective and causes you to dive further, then that's great. As I read on here, as far back as I can remember, I've sought to know the reason behind my existence here. In 1997, I was 3 years old at this time. My conscious awareness of thyself suddenly became apparent to me. I was 3 years young at this time. I had no recollection of life before this sudden awareness. I just suddenly became aware that I'm alive. My earliest memory that I can think back on is where I'm sitting on the carpet floor in a classroom with other kids my age. We're all sitting on the floor in a circle. I had a box of Cracker Jacks in my hand. If you're old enough to remember what these are, they're the box of popcorn that comes with a little prize of some sort inside. My motor skills were not yet adapted at this time because as I tried to open a box, the popcorn wasted everywhere on the floor. And I remember very vividly of a little girl who was sitting next to me on my right. As she saw the commotion of the popcorn distributing wildly out onto the floor, she animalistically reached out and started picking up the popcorn. To my surprise, she had no intention of putting them back in the box. And funny enough, I thought that's what she was going to do at my tender age of 3. But the destination of the popcorn, she put it into her mouth. At our very core, we human beings are pleasure seekers by nature. Every action we do is done out of our innate will to receive. And I want to speak on that a little bit. We have programmed in us the will to receive. We're pleasure seekers. Anything that gives us pleasure, that gives us delight, we run to it. And anything that's the opposite of that causes strain, hardship, we tend to stray away from it. And the only time we would allow ourselves to be put through such hardship or strain is only because we know that it'll give us pleasure afterwards, For instance, a person goes and works out, right? He puts himself through the strain, the rigorous training of working out and all of that. And they do that because they know the end result is something that they would like. They were going to look good. They're going to look fit. They're going to get pleasure from that. And, it's interesting that we're programmed that way, but it's the truth. You can be sitting on a chair and if you move, just any little movement that you do, it's to be in a better, more comfortable position. Everything that we do is pleasure-based. It really is. So I challenge you to think about that in your dealings. See how you're acting from that base program that we all have in us, is to seek pleasure and to make things easier for us, which isn't a bad thing, but it's good to understand that base level that we all have. Okay, so every action we do is done out of our innate will to receive. The first law of nature is self-preservation. It seems to be innately ingrained in us to look out for oneself first. Even in love, we're selfish. No one truly loves someone else more than they love themselves. Maybe if we reflect back on this, we could define a new definition for love and create something truly special. It's a shame what love has turned into today. The very absence of love is the very reason the inhabitants of this world are in such a disarray. I implore you to act not with your own self in mind, but with the care of the whole world, for we must convert our will to receive. Where did I write here? For we must convert our will to receive nature into one of bestowal. And what bestowal means is a giving nature. That's the nature of the Creator. He's a giver. If you think about it, everything that we have is given to us by the Creator. He supplies all of our needs. Like everything is from Him. The place you're sitting in now, the roof over your head, the water you drink, the food that you eat, that's all given to you by the Creator. And Some of you may say, no, I grew my own food. I went and got from the grocery store. I worked hard, got my money, went to the grocery store and bought my own food. I gave myself that. No. If you go deeper into it, it would never even be here in the first place if it wasn't from the Creator. So that's where I'm speaking from, by everything is from Him or her. So, let's see. I implore you to not act with your own self in mind, but with the care of the whole world. We must convert our will to receive into one of bestowal, which is the same as the Creator. For if we all thought this way, surely our time here will be pleasant for all. My book, Escaping Samsara, is aimed to give the reader a newfound perspective on life, one that spawns genuine care for others and what they may be going through. I've studied the books, watched interviews, and extracted wisdom from notable spiritually enlightened men and women, such as, I'm not going to read that list, but you see, just to name a few, Alice A. Bailey, Elijah Muhammad. Now, to speak on the Elijah Muhammad here, Honorable Elijah Muhammad, there are some things that he done that I don't agree with, but if you're able to put your ego aside, you're able to extract information from anyone. It doesn't matter who they are or what they did, because true awareness is simply perception without judgment. That's true awareness, to perceive, but to not judge. So I'm able to look at the knowledge that he has brought forth and extract what I deem is beneficial to my life. And that's what I've done with all of these guys here. So at the end of the day, we all want to be rich. When I say rich, I don't mean material possessions. I'm talking about being rich in love, health, consciousness, and stability. Matthew 6, verse 19 through 20 says, "Do not store up for yourselves treasures on earth where moths and vermin destroy, and where thieves break in and steal, but store up for yourselves treasures in heaven where moths, vermin do not destroy, and where thieves do not break in and steal. And I will teach you how to build up your treasures. They are earned when you give to others in need, pray and fast in private, forgive someone who wronged you, when you share the gospel, when you love your enemies, lastly, when you endure insults and persecutions as Jesus did." I hope that by the end of this book, you have a new light, one that will show clearly what it takes to walk the path of initiation and also pass it to escape this will of samsara we are all currently in. As I get a notification from something up there. With this notion, I humbly present to you Escaping Samsara. Thank you.